Are you one of those people that likes to watch the cooking shows these days? Well, if you are, then you know how important herbs can be in your cooking. I'm Liz from Sodak Gardens, and I'd just like to share with you some of the things that I have learned about cooking with herbs. And here are a few tips for growing your own herbs. Now, if you have a garden out in the back 40, don't plant your herbs there because you need to pick your herbs fresh so you can use them. If you have a garden close by, that's great. Cilantro and dill you might want to plant in that garden because they get quite tall. But indoors, you can plant most of the herbs. They are going to be less tolerant than if you would have them out in the garden. So you just have to watch a few things. In the spring, which is the perfect time now, you can buy started plants like this in the greenhouse, and then you can repot them into a bigger pot like this. Any herb that you're going to be growing in the house should be into about a 5.5-inch pot like this. Some of the easier ones to buy and pot up in the house are parsley. Now this is a large parsley. There are 3 plants here. I put this in last fall, and so you can see how well it is done. I've used it all winter. Just keep snipping from it. Parsley needs a bigger pot than this one because it has a long taproot, and that's one you can use all the time. Some of the others that are good to start inside for you are rosemary, which is very good for soups and potatoes and pork, and basil. You have to have basil. That's what this is. And this is going to be the wide leaf basil, which is wonderful for sandwiches, salads, and pesto. And basil's easy to grow. It's one of the favorites, I guess. Another one is thyme. Thyme is very nice to have in the house, and that again is one of the most popular ones for flavor. I'll tell you a little story about thyme and me. When I was first married, you know how a bride wants to please her husband, and I made hamburgers, and we sit down, and I heard this funny noise, and I right away, "What's wrong?" And he said, "Nothing's wrong. These are the best hamburgers I ever ate." So you want to always use thyme in anything that you're doing with ground beef. Lavender also. You might not use lavender much in your cooking, but it's certainly nice as it smells around the house, and you can put it in teas. Now, what kind of care do I have to do in the house with my herbs? The sun is what most of them will take. There are a few that don't like the real hot sun. Put them back a little bit. That would be mint and thyme and parsley. But right in your window, but don't let it touch the window, back a few inches. Then you can put all the other herbs and those 3 that take part shade back a little bit. You do not want to go out in the garden and fill this pot up and transplant that nice plant that you bought in the greenhouse in a pot that has garden soil. It's too heavy, and there could be organisms and bugs, hard telling what, in the garden. What you need to do is buy an all-purpose garden soil. That's what you need. You have to have fresh soil, and it should be rich and light. If you think it's not light enough, then you might have some of this vermiculite or peat moss. They are good to add. Just make sure your soil is rich and light, and this size of pot. Now, how do I water this and how often? Get a gallon jug and put a teaspoon of vinegar in that gallon jug. And you can use this for any of your house plants, and you should always do that anyway because the salts in the water are not very good for your plants. Leave it at room temperature. So always have this jug ready. Don't go getting hot or cold water out of the spigot when you decide that it's time to do this. And then water your herbs. Now, the ones that like it a little bit more moist are mint and basil and parsley. By moist, I mean when you see that the top of that pot, the soil is real dark, then you know it's good. If the top of that soil is getting quite white, then you know I have to water that. And rosemary and thyme are not, they don't like a lot of moisture. They want a little drier. And sometimes people say, well, just how much should I water? And that depends so much on your house, how much sunshine you're getting, how much you are watering, and how large your plants are. So you just have to be careful about the watering, and you'll learn later about how much it will need. If you don't care much for herbs, you can still grow, herbs for cooking, you can still grow herbs in your house that will give you a lot of delight. And they would be the ones like lavender or rosemary or mint. And there are about 200 kinds of mints that you can have. And I think, Tim, in April we get larger herbs sent in, and the mint will be quite good size already. And this is a mint. This is an apple mint that we grew. It's fragrant. It's just wonderful. And that is even pretty if you want to put in your geranium pots. But you can have those nice herbs in your house for fragrance or flowers, even if you don't want to do too much cooking.